hello friends. Imagine waking up on the second Wednesday of the month, walking over to your computer or picking up your phone to check your bank account and seeing absolutely nothing. Your screen shows a balance that doesn't include your monthly Social Security check, the money you rely on to pay your electric bill, buy your groceries, and cover your prescriptions simply did not arrive. For thousands of retirees, this exact nightmare has turned into a harsh reality because a digital identity thief silently hijacked their direct deposit. To stop this financial bleeding, the Social Security Administration has quietly put a massive restriction in place regarding how your banking details can be updated. If you do not know these rules, you could easily and accidentally lock yourself out of your own monthly retirement benefits. I want to be perfectly clear right up front. This isn't about the government taking your money or a new stimulus check. This is about critical, existing security rules the Social Security Administration is using right now to stop fraudsters from stealing your monthly direct deposit. By the time we finish today, you're going to understand the exact mechanics scammers use to reroute your checks, the strict phone ban that prevents easy banking modifications, and the precise legal steps required to update your direct deposit without freezing your account liquidity. I am also going to reveal a specific lockdown protocol called Block Electronic Access that completely bulletproofs your file from the inside out, so no one can breach your records online. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. The federal rules governing your money change constantly, and the government does not send out a personal handbook to explain your options. Those who subscribe find out about these structural shifts in time to protect themselves, while those who do not subscribe usually find out after their money is already gone. To understand why the system had to change, we have to look first at how the identity theft actually happens. This is the invisible bank hijacking. If your personal information has ever been compromised in a massive corporate or public data breach, you are exposed. Fraudsters take your stolen Social Security number, your date of birth, and your mailing address to bypass basic security checkpoints. They skip the phone lines, access an account online, and quietly swap your legitimate bank routing number for a prepaid debit card under their control. To protect your household from this threat, you must take a specific set of actions. First, log into your personal bank portal on the exact morning your monthly deposit is due. Second, pull up your official 2026 benefit verification letter and verify that the dollar amount hitting your statement matches that letter down to the exact penny. Third, never give your bank routing or account numbers to any individual who calls your phone unprompted. Fourth, go into your bank's mobile app or online portal and establish automatic text message notifications for any incoming electronic fund transfer exceeding $500. Consider what happened to Richard, a 72-year-old retiree living in Texas. He woke up on his scheduled deposit day and noticed his monthly retirement check was missing. A scammer had acquired his data from an old medical database breach and switched his deposit coordinates. Richard suffered an immediate loss of $1,800 in a single month. Because he didn't check his account immediately, the fraud went undetected for 3 months, snowballing into $5,400 stolen straight from his fixed income. Over a full calendar year, that rate of theft would drain $21,600 from a senior's pocket. If you are a single retiree, a breach like this destroys your baseline security. But if you are a married couple, you face double the financial danger. A breach of a joint checking account exposes both spouses simultaneously, allowing a fraudster to redirect 2 separate benefit streams into 2 different prepaid cards in a single afternoon. To stop this bleeding, the government finally stepped in and dropped a hammer on how banking changes are made. This brings us to the strict phone direct deposit ban that went into effect on March 31st, 20.25. Before this date, a senior could call the automated toll-free line, input some basic numbers, and update where their check was sent. Scammers exploited that simplicity. Now, the old easy way of changing your bank by phone is heavily restricted. You can no longer call the automated system to switch your routing number without passing severe secondary identity verification that most people cannot complete over a basic phone call. Your immediate action plan for this rule is straightforward. First, acknowledge that the old telephone lookup method is completely dead for rapid banking updates. Second, never trust any caller who rings your phone claiming to be an official agent who needs to update your direct deposit records over the line. Third, hang up the phone immediately on these individuals. The Social Security Administration will never call you out of the blue to demand a bank routing number. A retiree named Martha from Florida recently found this out the hard way. She moved her primary checking services over to Chase and tried calling the agency to update her profile. She was stopped cold by the phone ban and told she would need a much stricter form of identity verification. Because she got confused and tried to rely on a defunct phone method, her next check bounced when her old account was closed. Her monthly check was $1,900. By the time the bureaucratic wheels turned to fix the bounce deposit, she had lost 1 month of liquidity, leaving her short exactly $1,900 for her basic expenses. A 2-month delay would have left her missing $3,800 while her bills piled up. This delay affects retirees deeply, but it hits supplemental security income recipients even harder. Individuals on SSI have strict statutory asset limits and virtually zero financial cushion. A single bounce check caused by an unverified direct deposit attempt can mean immediate eviction or an instant utility shutoff. Because the telephone door has been slammed shut to scammers, they have pivoted to a much more deceptive tactic online, creating the fake portal trap. Fraudsters are actively purchasing premium sponsored advertisements on major search engines. When you search for instructions on how to modify your federal direct deposit, these fake websites appear at the very top of your screen. They look identical to the real government gateway, utilizing the same fonts, seal placement, and colors, but they are built on commercial extensions like .com or .net. Their lone objective is to harvest your Login.gov credentials. To avoid this trap, follow these specific steps. First, never click on any link marked as sponsored or advertisement at the top of a web search page when seeking government services. Second, go to your browser's address bar and manually type exactly SSA.gov. Third, inspect that address bar to confirm the .gov extension is present and check for the digital security lock icon. Fourth, if a web page ever asks you to input a credit card number to pay a processing or update fee, close that window immediately. Government profile updates are completely free. Look at Bill, a 70-year-old resident from Ohio. He wanted to change his deposit link, clicked to top sponsored search result, and believed it was official. He entered his social security number and password directly into the prompt. The scammer instantly captured those keys, logged into the real portal, and redirected Bill's $2,100 monthly retirement deposit. Because it takes the agency an average of 30 to 45 days to investigate, verify, and correct this specific type of online fraud, Bill faced an immediate cash flow gap of $2,100. If a senior fails to audit their account and leaves this unresolved permanently, that error translates to a yearly loss of $25,200. You need to know that if you access the internet primarily through a mobile smartphone, your risk profile is significantly higher than someone using a desktop computer. Mobile phone browsers frequently truncate or completely hide the full web address in the top bar to save screen space. That design makes it incredibly difficult to spot a fraudulent .com address masking as a government node. So if you cannot do it easily by phone, and you have to dodge fake advertisements on search engines, what is the exact legal way to update your bank in 2026? You must use the proper online update rule, which relies on the Login.gov transition and a strategy called the overlap method. The Social Security Administration has systematically phased out its legacy standalone usernames and passwords. Today, accessing your digital records requires a centralized identity credential through Login.gov or ID.me. To execute an online banking update securely, execute these steps in order. First, open your browser and navigate directly to ssa.gov/myaccount. Second, log in using your verified Login.gov credentials and complete the mandatory two-factor authentication by entering the temporary security code sent directly to your cell phone text messages. Third, locate the section labeled My Profile and click on the option to update direct deposit. Fourth, carefully type in your new bank routing number and account number. Fifth, and this is the most critical instruction, leave your old bank account fully open and funded until you physically see the first monthly deposit arrive safely inside your new account. A 76-year-old beneficiary named Susan from New York followed this protocol perfectly. She logged into her account securely, and applied the overlap method. She left her old credit union account open and active for 45 days after submitting the change online. Because of that overlap, her next check of $1,500 landed safely in her old account while the government systems processed the transition. Susan lost $0. If Susan had rushed to close her old account the day she filled out the online form, that $1,500 electronic transfer would have bounced off a closed bank node and headed back to the United States Treasury. That mistake triggers an automatic administrative hold, creating a 30 to 60-day delay in getting the funds reissued, costing a retiree $1,500 to $3,000 in vital short-term liquidity. When you choose your authentication method, remember that ID.me requires a live biometric photo upload of your government driver's license or passport for facial recognition matching, which represents a high level of data security. Login.gov is often much more practical for seniors who struggle with phone cameras, as it relies on simple text messages or email verification loops to confirm your identity. But what if you are locked out of your online portal completely, or what if you simply prefer not to use computers or smartphones for your financial affairs? There's only one foolproof offline option left, and that is the in-person local office protocol. Updating your direct deposit by walking into a physical field office removes all digital hacking risks from the equation, but it requires specific physical evidence to satisfy the federal security agents. Your step-by-step action plan for an office visit requires preparation. First, access the official government directory at ssa.gov/locator to pull up the exact street address and current operating hours of your nearest local field office. Second, place an unexpired physical government photo identification card, such as your state driver's license or a United States passport, into your wallet. Third, obtain either a physical voided check from your new checking account or an official, printed direct deposit letter signed by a teller at your new bank that explicitly states your full routing and account numbers. Fourth, after the field office agent processes the update at their desk, do not leave until they hand you a printed paper receipt confirming the system change. Keep that paper in your home files. Robert, a 75-year-old retiree from Michigan, does not own a computer and refuses to conduct banking on a smartphone. He gathered his voided check and drove directly to his local field office. Robert spent $15 on gasoline and 2 hours of his morning waiting in line, but he completely insulated his $2,300 monthly benefit from any potential online routing scam. That single afternoon of effort protected $27,600 in annualized retirement income by creating a hard copy immutable federal paper trail. For seniors who suffer from severe mobility issues or cognitive decline and cannot physically travel to an office, the agency allows the appointment of an official representative payee to execute these changes. However, that designated payee cannot simply call the hotline. They must also apply in person at the local office, bring their own photo identification, and maintain strict ledger accounting records of every single dollar received on behalf of the beneficiary. Now, while you are securing your standard bank accounts, you must also watch out for the alternative payment systems that scammers are targeting heavily right now. This is the Direct Express card fraud trap. Millions of seniors and disabled individuals do not have a traditional checking account and choose to receive their federal funds on the government-issued Direct Express prepaid debit card. Because this card bypasses traditional commercial banks, scammers frequently target cardholders by sending deceptive text messages or making fraudulent phone calls pretending to be Comerica Bank, the financial institution that manages the Direct Express program. To defend your funds on a prepaid card, execute these actions. First, realize that Direct Express and Comerica Bank will never call you or text your phone out of the blue to ask for your full 16-digit card number, your expiration date, or your 3-digit security PIN. Second, if an urgent text message appears on your phone claiming your card is locked or frozen due to suspicious activity, delete that text immediately and do not reply. Third, flip your physical Direct Express card over and call the official customer service number printed directly on the plastic back. Fourth, if you spot a fraudulent transaction, you must file a formal dispute with the Treasury within exactly 60 days of the transaction date to preserve your consumer rights. Mary, a 69-year-old resident of Pennsylvania, receives her supplemental security income on a Direct Express card. She received a generic text message stating her account was compromised and needed immediate verification. In a moment of panic, she replied to the text with her security PIN. Within 1 hour, the scammer completely drained her maximum SSI benefit of $943. If a low-income beneficiary falls victim to this trap and fails to recover the money, it results in an annual loss of $11,316, completely devastating an individual living below the federal poverty line. Statistically, SSI recipients, whose monthly benefits are capped at $943 for single individuals, are disproportionately damaged by direct express scams. This occurs because a high percentage of these beneficiaries are unbanked and have no secondary savings account to fall back on, unlike higher income retirees who utilize traditional federally insured bank accounts that provide immediate fraud protection teams. If the absolute worst case scenario occurs and your monthly check actually vanishes from your account on deposit day, you cannot afford to panic. You must execute the official government procedure known as the Missing Check Non-Receipt Trace. The United States Treasury handles millions of concurrent transfers. If your money is not there on your scheduled Wednesday or the 1st or 3rd of the month, you cannot simply demand an immediate replacement on day 1. Federal guidelines mandate a specific waiting period before the agency can legally initiate a tracking sequence through the banking system. To launch a successful fund recovery trace, you must follow these steps precisely. First, wait 3 full business days or mailing days after your official scheduled deposit date has passed. Do not attempt to log a trace before this window closes. Second, call the main National Social Security toll-free hotline at 1-800-772-1213. Third, speak clearly to the representative and state this exact phrase: I need to report a missing direct deposit and start a non-receipt trace. Fourth, the agency will submit a formal tracking request to the Department of the Treasury to locate the electronic funds, reverse the fraudulent transfer, and route the money back to your correct account, a process that takes between 10 and 14 business days. James, a 71-year-old beneficiary in Arizona, noticed his account was empty on his regular second Wednesday of the month. His check was $1,600. He waited out the mandatory 3 business days and called 1-800-772-1213 to log his non-receipt trace. The Treasury tracked the digital footprint, identified a routing configuration error, reversed the funds from the fraudulent terminal, and reissued the entire $1,600 back to James exactly 14 days later. James recovered 100% of his monthly income. You should know that an electronic direct deposit trace conducted through the Federal Reserve System moves relatively quickly, taking that 10 to 14 day window. However, if you are a senior who still receives a physical paper check in the mail, tracing a stolen or lost paper document can easily take up to 4 weeks or even longer, as the Treasury must investigate whether the physical check was cashed and verify the endorsement signature before printing a replacement. But rather than spending weeks fighting the federal bureaucracy to recover stolen money, there is one ultimate security maneuver you can execute today to lock the digital door permanently. This is the Block Electronic Access Lockdown method that completely bulletproofs your file. When you place a Block Electronic Access flag on your account, you are instructing the federal government to completely shut down any ability to alter your address, your phone number, or your bank routing configurations through the internet. It turns off the digital interface entirely for your record. To implement this absolute security shield, perform these 4 steps. First, call the national agency hotline at 1-800-772-1213. Second, state clearly to the representative that you want to add a formal Block Electronic Access, or BEA lock, to your personal record. Third, open your computer and visit the official websites of the 3 major credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, and place a free credit freeze on your credit files to prevent identity thieves from opening fake bank accounts in your name. Fourth, establish a private, unwritten safe word with your family members so you can instantly verify your identity during any emergency phone calls. John and Linda, a married couple from Texas, decided to take action before any breach occurred. They froze their credit files at all 3 bureaus and placed the official BEA lock on both of their Social Security records. The financial cost to execute these security freezes and federal blocks was exactly $0. In return, they secured total protection for $45,000 a year in combined Social Security benefits, ensuring no digital criminal could ever alter their profile online or take out fraudulent consumer loans using their names. Before you request the BEA lockdown, you must fully understand the situation variation it creates. By activating this lock, you are locking out everyone, and that includes yourself. If you legitimately move to a new home or change your primary bank account in the future, you will no longer be able to make those changes online. You will be required to drive to a local field office in person with your physical identity documents, or call the national hotline and pass an intense, multi-layered identity verification process to temporarily lift the block. For most seniors, that slight inconvenience is a tiny price to pay for complete financial peace of mind. Your direct deposit is the lifeblood of your retirement. Do not let a scammer reroute your hard-earned money simply because you didn't know how to lock the digital front door. To review everything we covered today, the invisible bank hijacking happens when identity thieves use leaked data to quietly swap your routing numbers online. The strict phone change ban means you can no longer use the automated line to modify your bank details without intense security screening. To avoid the fake portal trap, you must stay away from sponsored search engine links and type SSA.gov manually. When making an online update, use the proper Login.gov portal and always maintain the overlap rule by keeping your old account open until the new deposit lands safely. If you prefer to work offline, use the in-person local office protocol and secure a physical paper receipt from the agent. Watch out for the Direct Express card fraud trap and never reply to urgent text messages asking for your card PIN. If your check ever goes missing, wait 3 business days and call 1-800-772-1213 to launch an official Treasury trace. Finally, you can permanently secure your retirement by calling the government to activate the Block Electronic Access lockdown on your file. Subscribe. Share this with someone you know who's on Social Security or Medicare. I'll see you in the next one.